DC Vigilante here. I'm going to try and make it quick. Loads to do. So, just got myself Shazam 4K. I always get my DC stuff 4K, inclusive motion comic plus over 90 minutes of extra features. Wow. Also at the same time, I got myself Hush Blu-ray. I can't. Normally, it's do I buy Blu-ray or do I normally just buy the normal DVD because of the price. But this one, somehow it's got a showcase short, and on the other DVD I didn't notice at the back if it had that DC short. It's been a wee while since we had the DC short, so I didn't rock. And the more I look at these films, and and I start looking at Shazam and stuff, it just makes me think back to where we could have been. I recently posted on the Facebook page, DC Vigilante, about the Trinity, and I watched that bit where Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman come down, and Wonder Woman makes her appearance, and Superman flies down, throws Doomsday, and the music, the darkness, the seriousness of the film, and I thought, damn, we were onto something there. And it's probably going to take a generation for other fans to cling on, to realise this. And it just galls me, and I think it will remain just my favourite film, because to me that's the only sort of DC movie with so much great potential and so much going for it, and at least, if anything, it has the Trinity in it, and it has this sort of this idea of what we could have had, hence why there's a big movement on the Snyder Cut. And then talking about the Snyder Cut, somebody made a mention in one of my posts of the Snyder cult and stuff like that. And then in work today, my gaffer has said to me, he's into Star Trek and stuff like that. I was into Star Trek, the original series and stuff, and I got talking about Star Wars and how George Lucas kept the original trilogy for himself, and this is why Star Wars is Disney's trying to kill off the other thing and just totally snub fans and totally call them trolls and stuff. So for my message to these people that are calling Snyder fans a cult movement or something, and Stephen, my work, he mentioned that the problem he has with superfans is that they're trying to tell us, tell him what not to see it, that don't go and see this film, and he just wants to go and see a film and enjoy it for what it is. And I went, no, that's not what a movement's all about. That's just not what superfans are trying to say. They're just trying to, for me, they're a fan because of the internet, because of social media. We're well more informed, and for those fans that take an interest in behind the scenes, they can see all the evil dealings of cooperation. They can see, let's say for instance, we know the thing about Big Brother's eye, or Big Brother's watching you, or companies like Disney is constantly making remakes and buying over other companies, and then you see these big companies and they're overtaking the smaller ones, and they're corrupting it in some sort of way, and feeding this lot of rubbish because they can get away with it. And the big one, no, the fans, hence the Snyder fans or any sort of super fans, the reason why most of them not saying don't watch it or you shouldn't support it, is because they just are trying to inform you of what's going behind the scenes. They're trying to make sure that these companies don't get away with it, that these companies that try to feed us stuff like feminist Ghostbusters, right? And then we're not trying to say, oh, we're not taking our kids to that because the adults are not. No, for me, I say, if kids are watching, say, the original Star Wars, right, and then they get this new stuff, they've got the whole mind of their own to say, wait a minute, that Luke Skywalker is different from the previous Star Wars. So it has got nothing to do with the older generation trying to influence the younger ones. We're not stopping them from doing it. We're what you call informing them. And if they want to see it, fine, but don't drag the older ones, the fans, to these things. It's not a cult. We're just here to make you aware of what's been happening behind the scenes. And maybe if you're aware of what happened behind the scenes, maybe you're more likely to probably follow us as well. It's like meat or sausage or anything else. If you were to know what goes into a Scotch pie or some sort of meat pie, if you were aware of what the animals were doing, I mean, as I say, I eat pie. I try not to think about that, but I know that there's vegetarians and whatnot out there that just want us to know what happens to the animals, right? Even though we're all like, we like the meat, but then when we're aware of how like chickens are treated, that's why we get free range eggs, then we can make our own decisions. But thanks to the people with passion that we're now aware of these, and companies companies have to get it. Follow the people, follow the consumers. So yeah, call Zack Snyder people a cult, call people super fans. But at least what we are trying to do is make you aware. Make you aware that there's different versions of this. Make you aware of there's a different way of life. Make you aware that there's of the world around you, that you're not just following the news, you're not just following what people say, that there's another side to things. Well, that's what I was going to say. That's DC Vigilante. That's my truth. Out.